How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today we're getting very close to actually having the very first rally sprint coming up. Willie pulling faces in the background. So just down at Willie's place now. Need to get on with some underbody protection for the Supra. So gonna make an alloy bash plate for the motor, some mud flaps and a bit of just plastic protection just to stop everything getting absolutely destroyed from running on the gravel. And at the same time as well, a lot of these things, well, we'll be using Willie's plasma cutter. So he'll probably be running that machine, and while he's doing that, I'll probably be finishing off his Celica, because that's just had a new bumper and guards and things put on it, so I need to do a wrap on that and get that all tidy. So we're going to have both cars ready for the rally sprint. So the shuffling shall now commence. This is Willie's Celica and his enormous splitter and his enormous wing. This thing is so wild, eh? So this is about to go back to gravel spec as well. Just having to rewrap these guards and front bumper. Someone had a bit of a whoopsie. But yeah, it'll be mint. We'll have this and the Supra at the next gravel sprint. So here is the sheet of alloy for the under tray. It's gonna mount to my radio support. Gonna have a wee hole there for the jacking point. Come down on an angle for the sway bar, and then flat all the way back. Probably gonna end up having to cut it at some point to trim it, because it's probably gonna be too far, but I'll wait to do that afterwards. But yeah, so this is what I'm doing at the moment. I've got it marked out, so I want to have that step lip, which is 80mm, and then I'm going to get this wee cut so I can fold it, and then go back another 139mm, because that'll give me the angles and everything that I want. Now I've got this folded, just going to weld on this edge now to keep it straight, and then we'll fold this edge and then hole saw through there for the jacking point, and then work out where the rest of the mounting points will be on the rear of it, and it might still need a bit lopped off the end. That's the basic shape of it coming through. Well, this is actually my very first time welding aluminium, so that was interesting. It's not quite as easy as steel. So a couple of dog shit runs and a couple of nice runs. Unfortunately, that's that's the main side you're going to see too, because that's going to be what's going to be you see from underneath the car. So this next run is probably going to end up being better than this one, but that's the one's going to be hidden. Always the way. Well, it is now the next day. My phone battery died, so I didn't film anything. So currently just quickly doing an oil change before I put that metal plate in the way, because that'll be a pain in the ass to change the oil. So yeah, I've got this welded up. Got to clean the hole, but hole's all cut out for a jacking point. And then I drilled my lower radiator support and I welded in some weld nuts so that can then bolt on the front to the bottom lower radiator support, and I'm going to make it bolt to those 2 points back there. So Willie's told me a trick is to basically going to make up a bolt with a point and use it as a punch. So I'll get these holes drilled out on that bit of alloy, have it bolted up here, have a bolt in there with a point, and I'll offer up the bit of alloy, give it a smack with a fucking hammer around there, and it should put a dent on the other side so that I can get the holes in the correct position for those mounting points. And I'll just need to make up a couple of spaces to drop this down a bit, some longer bolts, and trim either an angle for my exhaust or just trim it shorter. Then I'm going to get some plastic which will bolt up to the back of the metal there, run back, and then cable tie up here just to protect the bottom of my Samsonite so that I don't scratch up my lovely billet alloy housing for it. So that is the missions today. And then last night, I'll just zoom, wrapped Willie's bumper. It's very wet. It's like we're working in Waterworld today. I've just deburred that hole. I've got points marked out where I'm going to drill. About the first 2 spots anyway. So I'm going to drill those out and see how good I am at measuring. Offer it back up and see if they work, and then I'll drill out the other 2. So I got the first 2 bolts in. Now I just got to drill the holes for the second 2. That'll be the front taken care of. Big old bash plate I should say. Covers most things. Might just could either weld a plate up against there, try and protect my water pump a little bit. Not sure. And I'm probably going to have to wrap my filter so I don't send a rock through that. And get some longer sway bar end links as well. Not that I'm sure those ugly ass sway bar end links I made will do anything. I really should make a nicer version of that at some point. Now that the front is mostly done, I just need to make that guy a little bit bigger that way. And those will be fine. I have just marked out where I need to cut for my exhaust. Because if that rattles, it's going to drive me absolutely insane. So yeah, I'll cut this panel out and make that guy a little bit more that way. Then I've got to make up some measuring device for getting those holes in the correct spot. So I'll do that on the lathe. So here is the punch that just machined up in the lathe, so just put a point on that, and I just bolted that in there. Now I'm going to put the bit of alloy up and give it a fucking smack with a hammer, and we should get a spot to drill. Right, and that is the punch mark we got. Worked pretty good from that guy there. So now I'll swap that onto that side and get the corresponding mark on the other side, and we should be good. I just got to remember to cut out the part for the exhaust. Right, well, I've done a cut out for the exhaust now, and radiused all the corners and got those holes drilled, So moment of truth, pop it up and see how it fits. So there was one last job. I just had to machine up and weld some spaces for there to drop this down so it doesn't touch on the sump. Well, there we go, ready for all the off-roading activities you could desire. Did that pretty good. So I'm just going to make a wee plastic extension just to cover this rear little bit of my Samsonite, just to protect that, and either put some rubber between there or notch that out. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Pretty happy.
Some big jumps on there.
You got to show me how it's done on this leaker first.
I'll throw some rocks onto the road for you just so you can run over them.
Sweet, thanks.